Hey guys, I just want to do a quick video this morning. So we purchased the FORTNITE ARL SCAR off of Amazon and we got the gun. Everything came in great. The issue we had was that once we opened it, it actually didn't work. So I was going to send it back to Amazon, but I figured, you know what, maybe it's just something small. A lot of times with these guns, there's something kind of, kind of insignificant that caused them to not work, whether it's a bad solder or whether, just something went wrong with the manufacturing of it that sometimes you can fix yourself. And he was pretty disappointed when it showed up and didn't work, so I'm going to see what I could do. So I went ahead and took the screws out. You don't have to worry about taking out anything off of the buttstock. You just have to take all the screws off of the actual body of the gun. You don't have to worry about the front orange section either. That's kind of one separate piece, separate piece. So you take all of these screws out, and then you can separate the gun very carefully, making sure not to make a mistake. Shouldn't take but a moment, but it's going to make me look incapable. It's usually par for the course. Alright, we're getting there. Be really careful because sometimes things just kind of seat the right way and don't really want to separate. You don't want to damage the plastic parts. And sometimes the screws decide to reseat themselves. Just a little bit. It doesn't hurt to go back in and chase them when you feel tension. Sometimes the tips of the screws just kind of go back in the hole just enough. And that's threads you want. You want those threads to kind of secure back into place. So when you take this piece off, and mind you, all those screws are actually loose, and I've had this off before, but just by placing it back on, those screws, just the front couple threads, fell back into those sockets. So you loosen all your screws. Don't lift the top plate too far because you have wiring inside. You're just going to pivot this back, and then you'll see the inside of the gun. So the way this one's designed is it has a couple safety features. It has a safety feature that the magazine has to be inside of the gun to engage this mechanism. It has a safety to make sure that the slide, so you can actually get in access to clear out in case you have any kind of jamming or anything like that with the NERF darts, is in full back and lock position. And then you also have to hold back on the motor button, which is right here. It's kind of the power button. The problem we're having is that with this gun, the power button didn't work. So I put new batteries in that go in right here. You tighten this little, unloosen this screw, put 4 AA batteries in, tighten it back up. Did all that, pulled the little power button to power it on, nothing happened. Changed the batteries to another set just in case it was that set that was bad. Still nothing happened. Took a voltmeter, put it to it, made sure that each battery had 1.5 volts. We were good there. So then I decided to go ahead and open it up. Once we opened it up, I just started checking around. So what I did is I held the button and I started moving the wiring, and I worked from the button itself all the way up through the unit. And then I noticed that when I pressed down on this safety switch right here, that again is activated when this little door is all the way back and locked. It worked. So if you pull the trigger now, nothing's happening. Push down that little sensor. I don't know if you can hear it, but the little motor starts whirring. So instantly we found out that that was the problem. So what I did, and this is just set in there. It's just in there by gravity once you have it open. What I did is I took 2 small pieces of plastic, and I have just a small piece of plastic laying around, and I cut it to the size of the opening and set 2 pieces in there, and then reinstalled the switch, and it just sits in there loose. And then you can go ahead and make sure your wiring is clear. You don't have anything crossing itself. Place everything back together. Make sure it's seated and the wires are hanging out. We're going to push this button. Now I can hear that the motor's back on again. Open the door. No motor. And that's the way it should work. So that was the fix for this little scar. It was a really simple fix. For some reason, just the way that that little switch that's in there was seated, it didn't push forward enough to be activated by the door when it closes. So a couple little pieces of plastic will be the fix for this issue. And hopefully, if you have an issue similar to that, that's all it's going to take to fix yours. So good luck.